Hello and welcome to the Broadcast Podcast. This is basically just a talk show that me and my friend Bryce are doing. I am Jacob and
I am Bryce West.
Yeah, and this is just basically a talk show where we talk about broadcast and anything that are happening in our lives as broadcast students. So, any events that happened to you lately?
Well, I've just, we're getting ready to film the third episode of my show on News Channel 15, The Film Reel. So that's pretty exciting. It's basically a talk show, kind of like this, where we just kind of like talk about movies and stuff. So I guess it's a more specific topic. But yeah, I think it's been going well so far. The general consensus from the audience seems to be that they're pretty glad that we're doing something other than sports for once. Which, I mean, sports can be great and all, but it's kind of great to have some like a different show for other people to watch who maybe aren't into sports, and it's nice to be able to get another audience through that mean.
Yeah, you mentioned talking about films, and since I help with the show, one of the biggest movies that have came out recently is Joker, and
that is true, yeah.
I recently saw it, and you saw it like, what was it, almost opening night, right?
No,
opening
yeah,
weekend.
I saw it the Saturday, so the day after opening night.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that movie? That movie was a lot.
I mean, besides the fact that it's a masterpiece, yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, it's definitely not a movie that take little Jimmy to, of course, but it's amazing. I mean, if it doesn't win Oscars, or even get nominated for Oscars, like, it could not win. Okay, I mean, we don't know. There might be better movies that come out, but if it doesn't even get nominated for Oscars, I would be shocked.
Oh yeah, it deserves to be nominated. Joaquin Phoenix did a pretty much flawless job on his performance. I haven't really seen any other Batman or Joker shows or films, and another person I heard from, they said that Joaquin brought in a bunch of different aspects from other Jokers and kind of refined it.
Yeah, he definitely took the best out of all the previous Jokers. Like if you had seen some of the previous movies, you'd see that there's definitely little bits of Jack Nicholson, little bits of Heath Ledger, and stuff like that. Not as much as Jared Leto for some reason, but
yeah, I heard that there was a little controversy going on between those two. That
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily between the two of them, but Jared Leto played the Joker in the Suicide Squad movie from 2016, and he definitely wasn't as well received as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. And I don't really necessarily think that was Jared Leto's fault. I think that was more of a script issue, but otherwise, I mean, he's still not going to probably play Joker again. He's not going to be in the new Birds of Prey movie, which is starring Harley Quinn, and he's not going to be in this the sequel to Suicide Squad. So I'd say it's pretty safe to say that he's pretty much done with the Joker. He's also doing a Marvel movie now called Morbius, the Living Vampire. So yeah, I don't. There might be drama between the two of them. I haven't seen that, but yeah, so Jared Leto is definitely not going to play the Joker anymore, but I don't really know, because Joaquin Phoenix doesn't necessarily have to be the one playing the Joker, because it definitely, from the looks of this movie, it doesn't really seem like that they were trying to build like an entire franchise out of this movie, which I'd almost prefer they don't build a franchise off of this, because I feel like this would be much better if it just like stay as a standalone. Although, like, if they built like a whole cinematic universe around this, I don't really know if it would work very well.
Yeah. You mentioned that you think Leto is not going to be continuing on as the Joker. Who's going to be the next Joker in the next Suicide Squad?
There isn't one.
There isn't one?
No. I mean, in Birds of Prey, supposedly, according to leaked set photos, they have a body double playing as him, which will be like a cameo.
Okay.
Kind of like what they did. They did this in Shazam as well, where they had Superman show up at the end credit scene, but it wasn't actually Henry Cavill. It was like a body double, because there's some drama with Henry Cavill too about him and like not being able to be Superman anymore, because they started paying him way too much, and then whenever the movies didn't make as much money as they thought they would, then they can't pay him the same amount because the movies aren't making as much as they thought they were. But Henry Cavill's not going to take a pay decrease, you know? So understandably, I understand where Henry Cavill's coming from, and I understand where the studio's coming from, because the movies definitely didn't make as much money as they thought they would, but also Henry Cavill doesn't want to take a pay decrease as well. I mean, like, just imagine like you walk into work, right? And you say, and your boss walks up to you and says, "Hey, we want to keep you, but we're going to have to pay you a lot less than what you have been." It's like, no, you're going to quit your job and go find another one, you know?
Much.
So yeah, I completely understand why he doesn't want to be Superman anymore, probably. So
do you think that you said that there might be a cameo? Is there a potential that they might end up using deepfake technology in order to, you know, kind of make him present? Or are they just going to have him
Jared Leto?
Yeah.
As the Joker? I mean, they could. I don't think they will. I think it's probably just going to be the back of his head or something. I mean, they'd also need to have the permission of Leto to do that, I'm pretty sure, because, I mean, he is, like, still alive, you know, and I'm sure, like, he's on contract. So if they wanted to have his face in the film, they would have just brought him in. So he's still on contract to have certain appearances, but they probably won't use him, so...
See, because, I mean, which Star Wars was it that they had Princess Leia?
Rogue One.
Yeah, they had her do the deep fake, even though since she passed on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She passed away shortly after that movie came out. But then they had Grand Moff Tarkin, who had been dead for a while, Peter Cushing. And, yeah, they had him in the movie as, like, a CGI character, which was actually very impressive, may I add. But, yeah.
Deep fake technology has really stepped up lately.
We need to get some deepfake technology here at Wabash Valley College.
Oh, I don't
Could
think
you imagine?
that'll happen.
Oh my gosh.
We plaster Kyle's face all over everyone. So yesterday I was taking friend's senior photos, you know, Langston.
Yeah, a good friend Langston from high school, yeah.
I was taking his senior photos and my truck was doing just fine, like throughout the whole trip. And then next thing you know, I'm taking him back to McDonald's where we met up, and he parked his car there. And I noticed that my truck thermometer is literally like pretty much way past the red, and it's in a place that it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I had no clue what to do. I went home.
Well, could it have maybe just been like an issue with like the meter?
See, that's what we're thinking for a while, that the gauge was just getting stuck. But turns out we put it off for too long, and whenever we got home, my water pump gave out, and all the antifreeze was like Niagara Falls under my vehicle and just dumping out of the bottom of my truck. So
that's never a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, you've had car problems.
I've had a sheer amount of car problems. Back in high school, I was notorious for my car always being broken down or something going wrong with it. Like it's like, hey, what's wrong with your car this week or something? Like, because there was always something new. There was some new issue that happened. I'm surprised it hasn't crapped out on me yet. Like throughout like the past couple months, it's honestly really impressive. I think this is probably the longest amount of time I've had my car working. Yeah. So here's hoping that it doesn't break down here soon, but now that I say that, I'm probably gonna jinx myself. Yeah. So
like there was that one time in high school where I think you just had a completely flat tire and you've been driving around with a flat tire.
Okay, now all right, so I didn't want to be late. So I drove to school on a flat tire. Probably not one of my better ideas, but I really didn't want to be late to school. So you kind of do what you got to do. My rim doesn't look that good anymore, but that's okay. It works fine now. It's still.
I mean, then
it hasn't busted yet.
I mean, you told me about the time that you drove to school and like your back tires were.
So the one time I drove to school and there was like a bunch of mud like stuck and my back tires weren't moving. So instead of trying to figure out the problem again, I didn't want to be late for school, so I drove to school basically dragging my car with the back tires rubbing up against the pavement of the road, and like all the way to school, you could see my tire tracks all the way from my house to the school. Like I said, probably not the best idea. And then whenever I went into reverse to parallel park into my spot, like the mud got out. So all I needed to do was go into reverse and then try and get the mud out. Yeah. So it was a really easy fix. So I didn't really have to burn rubber all the way to school that day, but I did it anyway.
It seems like it's just like these newer cars aren't made to last like the older cars.
It's a 2002. It's not that new.
Well, I mean, it seems like just newer cars, they break down a lot more than the older cars. Like, I mean, I've been driving around a 1986 Cutlass Supreme, and I have zero issues with it.
I don't know. I think I need to get a Tesla, so I never have to go get gas again.
Has Elon had any controversies lately? I mean,
probably.
Has he been quiet? I haven't really heard much.
I don't know. He's probably said something weird on Twitter, but
yeah, I mean, he's usually been like the man of controversy, like pretty much every day.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something new with Elon Musk. I mean, he's a pretty funny guy, I think, but
I'm pulling up his Twitter right now, seeing if he's
said anything.
3 days ago, he said going offline for a few days.
Oh, so, maybe he's like going to space for a couple days and coming back.
Yeah, he's flying to Mars. He's gonna be the first person.
He's gonna film an episode of PewDiePie's meme review up in space.
That would be pretty dope, honestly. I mean, everyone loved his meme review.
Yeah,
and I mean, Dr. Phil also did a meme review at one point.
But what are some things that you're looking forward to doing here at the college besides this podcast, obviously? Because obviously we're doing this right now. But are there any other bright ideas that you got?
Well, I mean, I've been wanting to do podcasts for years now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's always been something that's interested me. And, I mean, I did a podcast a while back about script writing called Words and the Bees.
Yeah, dude. You got to bring that back. Yeah. Words and the Bees. Yeah, we did it. Or he did a podcast in high school called Words and the Bees. And what, you would like write a script or like a screenplay during the podcast and just kind of like read it out? Or
basically the idea was, since, like the birds and the bees, that's like the life, like starting of life.
Yeah.
So we were basically doing kind of like the starting of life with a script. We would start from the beginning process of coming up with the idea. And granted, the one episode we didn't have enough time to go in and do kind of like the storyboarding and all that and documenting that. But we pretty much came up with a decent idea. And
I think that's a really fun idea. I mean, I don't know how big of an audience there is for that, but it's definitely something really intriguing for me, at least. I feel like that's something that I would really enjoy. I mean, there's got to be an audience for it somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it and getting it to them. You know?
See, like there's so much good content. It's just a matter of kind of getting it to grow and
people gotta find it. Which is hard sometimes because there's so much stuff out there, and it's so hard to get your stuff to be prioritized to some sort of algorithm on the internet to be prioritized higher than maybe a more popular show. But I mean, with it being like that, it makes it really hard to grow because the algorithms on any of these social media sites always prioritize what's trending, what's new, what's popular, whereas it makes it really hard for like a starting podcast or a starting show or video or account to gain followers or viewership through these means because it always is prioritizing the big stuff, but it makes it really hard for new stuff to come out.
That's why it's like hard for, I guess, podcasts kind of like these that are just talk shows.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's just basically sitting and listening to someone talk about whatever they want. And I mean, the only way that gets big is usually if the person that's doing it is big.
Yeah, already famous. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we're just kind of doing this for fun here. We're not trying to gain some sort of clout by doing this. If we were trying to gain clout, we would probably have a podcast about like, what's something popular around here in our area.
I don't even know of anything popular around here.
We'd have like a hunting show or like
or sports
because we live in like Illinois or sports. We'd have a sports show. Yeah, that's probably right, Jacob. We'd have a sports show. Yeah.
I mean, sports usually take priority within so far it's taken priority over pretty much everything here and within the broadcasting. And we're trying to sort of make something different out of it.
Yeah, I mean, sports is definitely important because that has a huge audience out there. But I think the problem, it's not necessarily a problem with sports, but a problem with prioritizing something like that is that there are people who don't like sports. And I'm trying with my show, The Film Reel, I'm kind of trying to bring in a different kind of audience. And it's the same thing for my show too. Like there's going to be people who don't like film, and that's fine. But I think that's why it's really important to have a variety of content spewing out of here, because you don't want to just keep watching the same thing over and over again, you know? Like in today's day and age, everything's boom, 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 boom. I mean, we watch so many things on the internet, on TV or whatever, and I think it's really important to have different things to watch out there. So that's why I feel like people. I mean, I'm just going off of basically like a few reactions I've seen on Facebook, but I think that's why people are kind of enjoying at least the existence of my show, because it's different. It's something new. It's something they haven't seen before, you know, and eventually my show might get stale too, and then we'll have to come up with a new idea or something like that. But I think right now, as of this day right here, I think it's a really, really nice to have that new thing out there, because I mean you look at like the iPhones and stuff like that. It's always the new one. You got to get the new one. You got to get the newest iPhone, even if they just add a camera. Yeah, you know. So even the tiniest new additions to something makes something huge. So I think having a whole completely new show with a completely different take, a different audience, and stuff like that, I think is really, really fun and exciting to have here.
And I mean, just like everything else, there's going to be times where things are slow and there's not going to be that much content. And I mean, it's just a matter of working with what you got. And if you want to try doing something new, you just got to go for it. You can't just sit back and not do anything. I mean, if you want to break away from the norm, you just kind of got to go out and break away from it and try to implement your own ideas.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing, because people will go like, oh, well, how come people don't do this and how come people don't do that? If you've got ideas to do things, go do it yourself. Yeah. Like, I mean, sure, like maybe you won't have the resources to do so, but I mean, yeah, definitely bringing it up. Like, I guess I just gave an example of like, bring it up, like tell somebody who can do it. Like, I mean, if you got ideas, share them with people, so people, like, it can become a reality. You know, that's the biggest problem with these big ideas, is that they're just ideas and they never come to fruition because nobody ever tries to actually do anything with those ideas. So
see, everything starts out as an idea, and there's always going to be people that are like, hey, this is dumb, but it's a matter of like finding the right people to help support you along the way and just kind of go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a YouTube channel which gained, I mean, quite the okay following. I mean, I had about like 1,000 subscribers, and the reason why I got there was because I met the right dude. You know, I had a really great partner in that venture or whatever, and it was basically a right place, right time. He was looking to do a certain project. I thought I could help him out, and I gave him some ideas. He gave me some ideas. We both came together, kind of melded our ideas into one, and we made a YouTube channel out of it. And it was pretty successful until like I just kind of, it just kind of died down. I mean, I just kind of lost interest in it, and I was super busy with other stuff in my life going on right then. So I mean, I'm kind of okay doing more traditional media now. I think it's not easier to grow in traditional media, but it's definitely not harder either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like traditional media is more guaranteed, or you have more insurance, I should say, with traditional media. Whereas in the online media space, you could be, your career could be over in a day.
Yeah, it's just a gamble. I mean, you say something wrong on the mic and you're just done.
Yeah, and that's the same for traditional media too, but it's more of like with traditional media, it's not like people are just going to get bored of you, you know? Like, you have a contract, you work with a company, whereas with like let's say a YouTube channel, you are your company. Everything you work towards is centered around you. Whereas if let's say I work for NBC, I'm just a small tiny little pawn in that huge corporate entity, right? So I feel like something like that is way more secure, of course, than the online medium.
Yeah. And I mean, YouTube is just something that, again, it's like a gamble. You don't know whether you're going to hit it big or anything, but you know, with, say, if you get a degree in like media and digital broadcasting and stuff, you're going to get a job from that degree. It's kind of guaranteed.
I mean, so long you haven't just like completely tarnished your entire reputation, of course. You know,
but I mean, YouTube, it's like you just gotta hope and pray that you gonna get like a following and people show up and watch your content and subscribe and watch you however often you upload videos.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely be rough. I mean, I will say this though, with controversies on YouTube, sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes controversies can bring you up. Like let's for instance the Paul brothers on YouTube, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they haven't gone anywhere, right? And they've had controversy after controversy after controversy. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, their views have definitely died down, but that's just over time. Like I was giving an example of before, where just over time people just become disinterested in your content. But I mean, they do stuff like they'll have like a boxing match. They became professional boxers, so now they can use that to advertise their YouTube channels. I mean, you say what you want about the Paul brothers, but they are businessmen and they are good at it. You know, they are good at what they do, and it's quite impressive because I mean, like even somebody like PewDiePie on YouTube. Like he is pretty much the most subscribed YouTube channel that's not a corporate entity, and he has just constantly adapted to everything. Like he was a gaming YouTuber, then he became just kind of like in general just whatever the heck, and then he started doing Reddit videos, which were popular, and then whenever Minecraft came back, he started making Minecraft videos, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but I mean it's literally it got him to where he is today. He has over 100 million followers on YouTube. That is insane. That is literally, he was the first to ever do that, or no, he was the second, but like he was the first individual to do that, and it's just incredible. Like one person, not a company, one person was able to gather up a following of over 100 million people. To do that, you have to be some sort, I mean, not necessarily a genius, but I mean, like you have to be good at your craft to do something like that.
Because honestly, it seems like the only people that have ever built up that big of a following were political people.
Yeah, or they were like bought out by a company to get them further. But he is owned by himself. I mean, I'm sure he works for like a multi-channel network or something to where he gets his money from. But he is not owned by anyone. He owns himself, right? And he got himself to where he is, which is incredibly impressive. Yeah. I don't think anyone will ever gather the same amount of success that he has, at least not in the same way that he did, just kind of just like growing by himself over time. Because I feel like, I'm sure there'll probably be someone who will eventually pass him. I mean, over time, that's going to have to happen, but it probably won't be like a huge grind. They're probably going to either get bought out by a company or something like that to be able to get to that amount of success.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking on the internet right now, and one of the second biggest YouTubers is Holesoi German. I mean,
yeah, it's like a foreign account.
Yeah, and then the one right after that is Dude Perfect.
Yeah,
and which
is owned by a company.
Yeah, they're a bigger group of people, so they're able to collaborate and kind of go out and do bigger things.
Yeah, but it's a grind.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
but I feel like that's the of course, back to the benefit of traditional media. It's just so much easier to gain success through here. I mean, it's not, I'm not saying that it's easy in general to gain success in traditional media, but it's definitely easier than the online medium because you are relying on your personality, everything about you. They have to like you, not the company you work for, but you.
But yeah, I mean, like with YouTube, you're probably working, I mean, well over full time.
Yeah,
like it's every minute you're working.
You have to if you want to like not have to have a second job.
Yeah, and then I mean, you go into actual like regular media, it's just gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be a full-time job, like 40 hours a week, or plus maybe 50. But I mean, you're not gonna be like killing yourself over how much you're working, and like it's not going to be nonstop.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like of course it's going to be hard work no matter which one you do, but like back to the point, it's all by yourself. It's all you, unless you're bought out by a company, which you have to gain some sort of success to be bought out by a company anyway. So to even get to the point to be bought out by a company, you have to get yourself to that point.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly difficult, and I applaud anybody who has even come close to doing that. It's really impressive, and it's really hard work.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of these, like, they say that companies that last, what is it, like 10, 20 years, those are some of the hardest things to do, is last just that long with everything that's been changing in life. I mean, say Rooster Teeth, for example, I think they just made it 20 years.
Really?
Or it's either 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, that was like a kind of like an online video company before YouTube. Yeah.
And then it's amazing that they made it that far, because I mean, they've outlived some like actual companies that aren't based around YouTube and film and their like video industry.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's really hard to create a business run, because I mean, there's just so many other businesses out there. Like to make a successful business these days, you have to come up with basically a completely new invention for you to even like have a chance. Like if you're just gonna make another, let's just say I'm gonna open up a business and it's just basically gonna be another McDonald's. Let's say I'm gonna make a McBronald's or something, for example, right? Like, I will be completely dead in the water, because you know what else is out there? McDonald's, Burger King, Dairy Queen, like an infinite amount of different fast food restaurants, Wendy's, Steak and Shake. I am like basically setting myself up for failure, because I am making a business centered around something that has already been done a million billion different times. But if I were to make a restaurant where I don't know, I sell just something different, something new. I feel like I would definitely have, I mean, of course it'd have to be good, but it's got to be something different, something that people haven't already seen a million times before. So like a town that or a restaurant, or I guess a restaurant or a place or whatever that we have in town, Ginger Ales, something completely new, a completely new concept. Like, it's basically, it started off as a drink stand, right? And then you basically go in, you could get like a Coke, a Mountain Dew or whatever, but then you can add a different flavor shot in, and then you can just completely customize your drink. There's like hundreds of different possibilities that you can have with just making drinks, and then they also sell food and stuff like that. So that's a completely new, at least to our area. I mean, it might have been done before in another area, but it's like a completely new, different thing, and they are hugely successful there. They've opened 2 restaurants in our town, just in our town, just in the one town. And I would not be surprised if over the course of 5-10 years they expand throughout the
Wabash Valley,
or the state, or something like that. Like they've definitely got a great idea on their hands, and they'd be crazy not to expand out from that, because that is a great example of a restaurant, or whatever you want to call it, thinking of something completely different. Like I said, if this were McBronald's, right? Just like another McDonald's restaurant, except not McDonald's, they would be probably out of business already. You know, or at least they would not be anywhere near as successful as what they are, because they came up with a completely new idea, completely new invention, completely new concept.
See, you either gotta be first to the party, or you gotta do it well. And like best out of anyone else if you're not first.
Yeah.
That's why if you have an idea that no one's done, get out there and do it as soon as you can.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can do something like McBronald's if it doesn't have, if that area doesn't have a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right. But honestly, at that point, then why wouldn't you just open up a McDonald's?
Exactly. Be a part of the franchise, because you're obviously going to make money off of it. But I mean,
so I don't know.
Well, I just got an email about the Wabash Valley College bonfire. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just got a text message about that too. It's canceled.
Oh, they canceled it?
Yeah.
What's been the process on that? Like, going out and like, I guess kind of coming up with the idea and advertising.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll talk about our canceled bonfire.
Might as well.
I guess by the time this is posted, it'll probably be over anyway, right? So, but okay, so
I mean, when was it supposed to be?
Tonight.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah. So yeah, about the canceled bonfire. So basically, I'm a member of Student Senate, and We were just kind of planning a bonfire, like the college likes us to do like some sort of event like after like a game every once in a while, and so we were thinking about doing a bonfire, but then like we just got rained out basically, and so we weren't. I mean, it's gonna be a little hard to start a fire if the ground's all wet, obviously. Yeah. So we're just not gonna do it. But I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I was part of the student council in high school as well, and it's just kind of the same. Like, you just kind of get together and get in a group, share each other's ideas and stuff like that. We were going to buy like hot dogs and stuff to roast on the fire and stuff like that. So I guess you're getting a little insight of what could have been the bonfire. But yeah, I mean, just it's kind of like planning any other event, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess not everybody's planned an event before, so I guess it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever for me. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of get together, share each other's ideas, and just kind of form a reality out of those combined ideas.
Do you think it's by any chance going to get rescheduled? Or
I mean, we could just do it like next. I mean, I don't know. Probably not really. To be honest, because I mean we're getting to like colder weather. Yeah. So if we were going to do it, it probably would have been tonight. But, as we're recording this, but yeah, I mean, I kind of honestly, I kind of figured that we'd probably get rained out because we knew that it was going to rain pretty hard. So it's all right. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It just happens. So.
I mean, rain's always going to be an aspect when it comes to outdoor things. And then, like, I guess, kind of like with the filming shoot this past Saturday that we were going to do. I mean, it was supposed to rain, and then it didn't even end up raining.
Yeah, we've been filming for a secret project now, but yeah, we've just been filming for some project here, and then we get rained out, of course, because whenever we want to film, it's gonna get rained, or whenever we want to have an event, it's gonna rain. So
I mean, it's been canceled for what, 3 weeks now?
The shoots?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matter of scheduling, weather, stuff like that. I mean, there's so many factors that come into like big shoots like that. So I mean, it's just one of those things where everything kind of has to align perfectly. You know, sometimes it just doesn't, you know, and you got to adapt to that. So
I mean, even though last time we actually did it, it was open up to the public to come and watch, but like no one came because they thought it was going to rain.
Yeah,
and get rained out.
We still got a pretty good turnout, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people ended up leaving.
Yeah,
for a little while. But
and we also went like really late too. We were shooting till like midnight, so. And there were some kids there, so they had to get home and you know get some rest, go to bed, you know. So
that's one thing about those shoots is that they get really tiring, and then they're like within, or what is it, like an hour away from us, and it's like we have to drive all the way there and all the way back.
Yeah.
But
which I mean, some people an hour is like, oh, really? Come on, guys. Like,
I know. I mean,
we don't really do a lot of driving around here. Yeah, there's not really many places to go.
I mean, if we drive anywhere, it's
I mean, people in like town. LA or Vancouver, New York. I mean, like an hour drive could be like 15 miles.
Yeah, it's like it's literally what would take us like 15 minutes to get across town. It'd be like an hour for them.
Basically, yeah.
Can we just talk about how so many people have walked up to the door and they're just kind of staring in at us like we're a bunch of animals in a zoo?
Animals in a zoo, yeah.
Welcome to broadcast, guys.
Oh my gosh. Broadcast podcast here.
So I noticed that you had Twitter open over there.
I do have Twitter open.
Is there any big controversies?
You want me to talk about controversies?
Well, don't necessarily state your point of view. Just like, is there anything
something went wrong? Well, maybe not. No. My name. No, not really. Actually, not that I'm seeing like right away.
Oh, I just see that PewDiePie has a new figurine.
Oh yeah, I saw that the other
it's 100 million club.
Nice. Yeah, but I guess a trailer for a new movie, Bloodshot, came out. That's good. I was getting a little worried actually. There's been barely any trailers come out. I didn't know I was gonna put it on the film reel. So it's basically like a comic book movie, but it's not Marvel or DC. It's off of it's like a completely separate company called like Valiant or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely going to be rated R for sure.
It says it's going to come out in 2020.
2020, yeah, that sounds about right.
So it's fantasy and adventure. I mean, this. Okay, look at this.
Yeah.
This picture is of the Flash and Thor with it.
I don't know what that's for.
I think
I don't know why they did that. It's
wait,
not.
Is it Vin Diesel?
Yeah, Vin Diesel's playing a Bloodshot. Yeah.
I've noticed that Vin Diesel doesn't do very many movies besides Fast and Furious. It seems like.
Well, I mean, it's also like he's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
as Groot.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, I mean, there's 20 billion Fast and Furious movies, so naturally, the most of his movies are going to be Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, Bloodshot starring Vin Diesel. They actually did a kind of a web series called Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, where Jason David Frank, a former Power Ranger, played as Bloodshot, and Bloodshot is a very violent character. So it was interesting to see someone from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers play such a violent character, like it's definitely interesting to see somebody from a kid show play a role that's completely just so far different from what they had done in the past. So
I mean, going back to like Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, I think the other big movie he was in before that was Her, which is like a guy that dated his cell phone.
Yeah, I didn't really watch anything of Joaquin Phoenix before the Joker. I really need to after seeing Joker and after hearing just absolutely great things about him. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix did such a great job in Joker, so I'm sure anything else he was in is pretty good, so long as the script is good, of course. Because I mean, if you have a bad script, it's gonna be hard for any actor to pull it together.
But I think most of his movies were like in the higher ratings, like within like say like PG-13, which I mean, going from say a kids movie to a rated R movie, it's a stark contrast.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about Zac Efron. Like once the High School Musical movies ended, and he started doing like not adult films, but movies made for adults to enjoy.
Neighbors, you remember that movie?
Yeah, or like 17 again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you watch High School Musical and then you watch something he did like right after that, and you go like, what? Like back then it was just like, holy crap, Zac Efron's in this movie, that's crazy. But nowadays you think of Zac Efron and you only think of those movies, right? So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
And I mean, there's like The Rock and people like that. Yeah, I mean that were WWE wrestlers are starting to come be actors. And a lot of people are hating on that, but WWE was acting. Yeah, it was just a different form. Yeah,
I mean, I don't really know if people hate. I mean, it's definitely like whenever they start because they're not as good, right? Like whenever John Cena first started, everybody was like, okay, yeah, very funny. Like,
but I mean, they also thought about that with The Rock.
Yeah, but now John Cena's improved. The Rock is obviously improved.
Yeah.
Let's see, Dave Bautista.
Oh yeah, I mean he's what was his name in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Drax.
Yeah, I mean, he's a loved character in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then
Marvel superstar right there.
Yeah, and I mean, then
John Cena's going to be in the new Suicide Squad movie. The Rock is going to have his own comic book movie called Black Adam in the DC universe, which is kind of based off like a Shazam villain. So
yeah, I mean, all these. We're getting just so many different types of actors these days.
Yeah. And then The Rock's character in the Fast and Furious movies got his own spin-off movie in the Fast and Furious universe.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw, wasn't it?
So, yeah.
Which I heard wasn't very good. But
it's a Fast and Furious movie. I mean, I'm not saying, look, if you're a fan of Fast and Furious, I'm not saying they're all bad, but I mean, there's a certain quality, it's the same with comic book movies too. I understand that. I'm a huge comic book movie nerd, but I mean, I understand that it's not like going to be like this Oscar amazing thing unless it's like Joker, of course. And Black Panther was really good too. I mean, it won a couple Oscars. So,
but I mean, whenever you drag out a franchise to like it's almost 10th movie, it's like kind of I think it's time.
That's kind of what I'm starting to get worried about the MCU is like after Endgame comes out and they're obviously going to continue making more, it's just going to be a matter of time to where how long can they sustain this? Like, I'm not a big believer in comic book movie fatigue because if that were true, I feel like that probably would have already happened and movies like Captain Marvel wouldn't have made $1 billion because Captain Marvel had controversy in it, but it still made $1 billion. Like there was people quote unquote boycotting Captain Marvel, but yeah, it still made over $1 billion. So if there was a comic book movie to fatigue, that movie would have been dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but, I mean, I heard, like, say, whenever I went and watched Endgame, a lot of people actually thought that was the end of the MCU. So,
which is kind of funny. Yeah. Which is, even though Spider-Man was coming out like a month or two later.
But I mean, that basically means that people are gonna slowly start dropping off of the franchise because they finally.
No, I have had some people come up to me and go like, "Why are they still making movies? Like Endgame was it, right?" Like I'm just like, well, I mean, people
sort of not. Really,
this is what happens in the comics. These are just movie versions of the comics. I mean, they're basically acting like these movies are just comic books. You know, I mean, this is what happens. I mean, you have a big event, people might die, people might not. They continue on. The world goes on in real life. The world goes on in the Marvel universe. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Disney was never going to stop making Marvel movies. I mean, that's just a crazy notion. I mean, Avengers Endgame became the highest grossing film of all time. Obviously, they're going to make more movies. They're still going to make more Marvel movies. They're still going to make more Avengers movies. After Star Wars ends on Star Wars Episode 9, they're still going to make more Star Wars movies. They already have release dates, actually. So, you know, I mean, the Skywalker saga of Star Wars is ending with Episode 9. They're still going to make more movies. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I mean, they make billions of dollars. Of course, they're going to make more movies. That's why they still make those live action remakes that, quote unquote, nobody asked for. If you're not asking for them, then why do you keep going out to the theater and seeing them? You know, Disney keeps making these movies because people keep going to go see them. So if you don't want Disney to keep making these movies anymore, then I highly suggest that you don't go out to the theater and see it, because that's why they keep making it. Yeah. Because you go buy the tickets to go see it, you know? So
speaking of the MCU, I just recently rewatched Spider-Man Far From Home, was it?
The second one?
Yeah. I just rewatched that. I saw it in theaters, and I mean, I was noticing things that I didn't see before. Like, I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal made appearances whenever he wasn't.
Yeah, I've actually only seen the movie one time, but I've seen that online. Yeah, so
like, I mean, he appears I think it's like in the airport or something. And I mean,
kind of like spying on Peter a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And that movie was just so full of so many twists and turns. Yeah.
I mean, I love that movie to death, but the only thing that I can't get behind is that stupid monologue that Mysterio gives in the bar.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. It was like, hi, I'm the evil villain, and I'm giving you my maniacal plan.
And the thing is, they all literally worked together, so they all knew each other's stories. Yeah, so why did you need to tell us?
He's explaining his evil plan to the people that helped him with his evil plan.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know that it was meant to explain it to the audience, but he was presenting it like he was saying it to his what would you call a henchman, and it just didn't really make any sense. And we kind of could have gathered he really should have explained, had that whole thing while explaining it to Peter.
Yeah,
I feel like. Yeah, that would have made a lot more sense, but whatever. I mean, I feel like that's the only kind of weak point in the movie right there.
And I mean, can we talk about how his closest sidekick was that one guy that ran all the computer stuff, and how he was so careless?
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was like, oh yeah, we lost a projector, it's fine. Yeah. It's like that ended up being Mysterio's biggest downfall.
So rumor has it, because they announced a She-Hulk series for Disney Plus, the Disney streaming service, that's going to be set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and She-Hulk is a lawyer in the comics. That's her profession. So the rumor is that because of the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home, spoiler alert, where he gets outed as Spider-Man by Mysterio, the rumor is that She-Hulk is going to be his lawyer. Like She-Hulk's alter ego or whatever.
That would be honestly kind of weird. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it'd be a nice connection to lead into She-Hulk, I think. Because I mean, it's not like some like Spider-Man's gonna have a green looking lawyer and is gonna be like, oh no, wait a minute. No, I mean, she's gonna be in her normal stuff. She probably won't be She-Hulk yet, but it'll be whoever her alter ego is. I don't really know what She-Hulk's real name was, but.
Okay, speaking of Disney Plus, the show The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
I'm really excited for that.
What is the concept of that show? I've heard so many weird things about
I've talked about it a little bit on my show, The Film Reel, on News Channel 15. It's basically Jeff Goldblum just doing whatever the heck he wants. Like it's basically like basically how he was presented to me was that he basically walks up to the producer or whoever's in charge and says, I want to do this today. And they say, okay, Jeff Goldblum, let's go do that. And they literally just bring out their cameras and they do whatever Jeff Goldblum wants to do. I think it's going to be great. Like, I think it's going to be really awesome.
Okay, so this is quoting from Wikipedia. Basically, the premise of the show, it's literally under the premise category. The premise of the show is because the world, according to Jeff Goldblum, it's me with all the information and experience that my life has entailed up to this point now. Plopping me, I go the world of and exploration. Okay, they didn't type this out very well.
Yeah, so whoever made the world according to Jeff Goldblum Wikipedia
Apparently
page.
This is a quote from Jeff Goldblum, but I don't think Jeff Goldblum talks like this.
He might have. That's kind of his reaction whenever somebody told him that Spider-Man was out of the MCU. Did you see that?
No,
Now he's back, but...
But ending the quote, it's not as if I do some extra homework research, bone up on it, so that I tend to know something about it and then tell you about it. No, it's not like that.
So considering that was a bunch of absolute gibberish, I do believe that Jeff Goldblum says that, and that's why I am excited for this show because it is just going to be so random, so wacky. I think it's a great concept. Like whoever pitched that show, it might have been Jeff Goldblum, I don't know, but like whoever pitched the show idea was like, let's just have Jeff Goldblum do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's such a great idea, but such a so simple idea too. Like almost so simple that like nobody would have ever thought of that. Mm-hmm. So I think it's gonna be great.
And I honestly don't think there could be a much more perfect person for the role in this show.
Yeah.
I mean, just going out and doing something
just doing
crazy.
Whatever. Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Because I mean, do you think that they're gonna like? When do you think they started filming for this?
I don't know, a couple months ago. I mean, about half a year ago, probably.
Okay, so do you think that there might be a possibility that his episode of Hot Ones might be on there?
Maybe, I don't know.
That would be very interesting, crossing
over.
Crossing Disney with a YouTube series like that. I mean, technically, Jake Paul crossed from YouTube to Disney.
But but we don't need to talk about
that. I'm amazed by how many like people that started out on YouTube and went over to like TV.
Yeah, Disney had a thing for a while where they were just bringing like a bunch of YouTubers into the Disney channel.
It was a way to get into the kids' audience because the kids watch those YouTubers.
I don't know. Yeah.
Also, speaking of that, is Annoying Orange still on Nickelodeon?
No, it was never on Nickelodeon. It was on Cartoon Network, but no. I mean, considering one of the cast members kind of did some controversial things. Well, I mean, the web series is still going on, but no, I mean, the show got canceled like half a decade ago. So yeah, like if it were still going on, like that'd be pretty insane.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wind down this podcast. Thank you everybody for listening. I am Jacob Bulb, and this is
Bryce West.
And I guess tune in next week and listen to whatever the heck we have to talk about. I mean, we're just slowly refining this as we go, and hopefully it combines into something good, you know?
All right. Yep. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.